Hello everyone, this is Mr. Lawbeck. In this video, we're going to do an introduction to federalism. So we will answer the following questions. Why federalism? What is federalism? What are the strengths and weaknesses of federalism? When the framers of the Constitution met at Philadelphia in 1787, they faced a number of difficult questions. Not the least of them was, how do they create a new central government that meets the needs, but at the same time preserves the rights and liberties and the powers of the states? Few of the framers favored a stronger central government based on the British model, and all of them knew that the revolution had been fought in the name of local self-government. They did not like the idea of a too powerful central government. They also knew that the government established under the Articles of Confederation had proved to be too weak to deal with the nation's many problems. A great example of this is Shays' Rebellion. While the framers favored a stronger national government, they also knew firsthand the importance of limited federal powers. They were convinced that, number one, government power posed a threat to individual liberty. Number two, therefore, government power needs to be restrained. And number three, divided government, like federalism, best prevents abuse of power. So what is federalism? Federalism is a system of government in which a written constitution divides the powers of government on territorial basis between a central government and several regional governments. These regional governments are usually called states or provinces. Each of those basic levels of government has its own substantial set of powers. Neither level, acting alone, can change the basic division of powers the Constitution has created. The American system of government stands as a prime example of federalism. The basic design of that system is set out in the Constitution. The document provides for a division of powers between the national government and the government of the 50 states. This division of power was implied in the original Constitution and then spelled out in the 10th Amendment. In effect, federalism produces a dual system of government. That is, it provides for two basic levels of government, each with its own field of authority, and each operating over the same people and the same territory at the same time. So as an example, us living here in Lower Merion School District are governed by the U.S. government, the Pennsylvania government, and the Lower Merion Township or Narberth Borough government. So the strengths of federalism. Federalism's major strength is that it allows local action in matters of local concern and national action in matters of a wider concern. Local traditions, needs, and desires vary from one state to another, and federalism allows for differing circumstances among the states. In addition, geographic differences can have a significant impact on states' policies. States located in earthquake zones, for example, may need to enact laws regarding earthquake-resistant building codes, while states located along the coasts may need to enact policies related to flooding, fisheries, and maritime commerce. Illustrations of this point are nearly endless. For example, in the 48 states, most gas stations are self-service. In New Jersey and Oregon, the law forbids motorists to pump their own gas. Only one state, North Dakota, does not require voters to register in order to cast their ballots. Only Nebraska has a unicameral or one-chamber legislature. Oregon and Washington are the only states that have legalized physician-assisted suicide. Only 5 states, Alaska, Delaware, New Hampshire, Montana, and Oregon, do not have a general sales tax. Another great example of federalism is how the pandemic is being handled by the government. There are national laws and regulations that everybody in the United States has to follow. But at the same time, states and local level governments have their own localized rules and regulations. So here in Lower Merion Township and Narberth Borough, we have to follow the local regulations regarding the pandemic, the Pennsylvania regulations, and the national regulations as well. And as we all know, certain states have tighter regulations regarding the pandemic than others. Federalism also allows for experimentation and innovation in solving problems. Indeed, the states have long been described as laboratories of government or laboratories of democracy. New approaches to difficult matters may originate in one state and then be adopted in another state or even put in place at the national level. So federalism allows states and local level government to experiment with laws and policies. A good example of this is the use of recreational marijuana. At first, Colorado experimented with it, and after other states saw that, they began to adopt their own similar policies regarding recreational marijuana. While federalism allows individual states to handle state and local matters, it also provides for strength that comes from the national government. National defense and foreign affairs offer useful illustrations of this point. So too do domestic affairs. Take, for example, a natural disaster. When a flood, drought, hurricane, or other catastrophe hits a particular state, the resources of the national government and other states can be mobilized to aid the stricken area. Another strength of federalism is that it allows for more participation in the government by citizens because there are more elected offices, and it allows more opportunity for people to get involved. Now for some weaknesses of federalism. A disadvantage of federalism is the redundancy that can occur due to overlapping jurisdictions, as evidenced by the handling of Hurricane Katrina in the early 2000s. In this instance, the national government's effort and the state government's efforts were not coordinated, and to a large degree, it did more harm than good. In federalism, there can also be jurisdiction confusion. Who should handle what? Should it be the national government or the state government? Federalism also creates inequity of services. So in one state, you may have much better public education available and resources than in another state, as an example. Now for some big takeaways. Federalism works well with a big, diverse country. It allows a nation like the United States, with diversity in people and landscape and needs and cultures, to have local or state-level governments have control over their area. So to a large degree, the people of Pennsylvania and Lower Merion Township and Narberth Borough can decide what's best for them. Another big takeaway is that the ongoing debate regarding federalism is who should have more power, the national level or the state and local levels. Typically, liberals think the national level government should have more power, and conservatives tend to side with state and local governments being able to make more decisions. I hope this little introduction into federalism was helpful in having you understand how our government's power is divided.